Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we will take another example for reactive form where we will see how to listen the value changes. And this is very important topic because in projects there might be some requirement where you want to execute the custom logic on value changes. So in this particular session, we will be mainly discussing that scenario only, like how to write this proper syntax or structure to listen to the value changes. Okay, so by the end of this session you will be able to understand what is a reactive form, like how to implement a reactive form in a way that it listen to the value changes. But before we proceed with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to create a reactive form that can listen to a value changes. Okay, alright, so now let's get started. Here you can see currently I am in app.component.html file. And just one more thing, like for the sequential content you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can go through it and just try to implement it. Okay, fine. So we are in app.component.html file where we have two headings. First heading shows Angular course by Sharmit, and the second one shows topic name, that is reactive form in Angular for listening to the value changes. Okay, so basically why do we need this example to learn, like listening to the value changes? Because let's say you want to react when a user types something in the input field. So suppose user is typing something into the input field. On the basis of that, if you want to react, then in that case you will need to listen to the value changes. For example, search suggestion, if you are writing something and it should show some suggestions, so that logic can be added with the help of this listen to the value changes process. Okay, similarly for live validation, if you are typing something and you want a live validation, then also like we can go with the value changes process. Okay, now let's see how we will implement it. So to implement it, what we will do, we will simply create one example, like where we will keep one file, one variable. So let's define that variable here. So I'll just first of all I will write here form, and then in this form we will write label, and this label will point out towards the field which we are going to create, that is username. So this is the username field, and after that username we will add the input tag. So this is the input tag. Now in input, we know that firstly we will just define the type of this input. So I want to accept text here, so I will just simply write text, and after that to assign it with the variable that we are going to define in component.ts file, we need to firstly import some required thing like forms module and reactive forms module, right? So these all things should be there in the app.component.ts file. So for that we will go to app.component.ts file. Here in import section, first of all I will write forms module, reactive forms module. Okay, forms module is for the template driven form, and for reactive form we should add reactive forms module. After that, in export of class, we will define the variables, the required variables, like username. So I will simply write here username equal new of FormControl. So remember one thing, that FormControl also should be imported in line number 2. So when I press enter here, it automatically added to the line number 2. That means now it is imported and now we can use it. Okay, now after this, if you want to assign any particular value that you want to load initially when this form is executed, then you can set this default value here, but for now I just want to keep it as blank, so I will just go ahead with a blank value. Next we will define one method here, that is ng-on in it. Now those who have already watched the previous session, they have idea about ng-on in it, because this is something that we already covered in one of our previous session in detail. So for now I'll just tell you in a very short way like what is ng-on in it. So it executed automatically when the program is initially loaded. Okay, so just take it as a small hint. Now you can just go back, and if you don't know about ng on it, you should firstly cover that so that you can easily implement it. Okay, so here I will just simply write this method, which is ng on init, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces, and inside this we will write this dot username dot value changes dot subscribe. Then we will check here value, and it should be with the same case. Okay, so whatever you are writing here, you have to use it in the same way. Okay, then equal opening angular bracket, then we will add here a curly braces, and then we will define here console dot log of value. Okay, now you can simply save it with a semicolon. Perfect. So in component file we have write we wrote the entire logic, and this logic will help us to, like, whenever the program loaded, it checks if the username dot value changes dot subscribe value is changed. That means this line is mainly telling us that username value is changed. If it is changed, then in that case we will simply log one message, that is console.log.value. So it will just tell you the exact value which you have changed. Okay, so that value is coming from the value changes. So basically it will tell the value, exact value which is changed by the user. Perfect. But we haven't added this thing, right? So firstly let's go to app.component.ts file. Here you need to write form, it should be in square bracket, FormControl, and then after square bracket there should be one equal to sign, and then you will write here user name. Okay, fine. So this is something that we want to show to the user, that we want to accept from the user. Okay, now after this what we will do, maybe if you want you can also define the things here, but let's make it simple. Okay, so we have defined this thing. Now you can simply run the application by ng serve -open, enter. Just wait for a few seconds, and then it will show you the output in the browser screen, where you have to key in some input, and then it will show you the changes in the console. Okay, so you can see we have one angular course by TechSharmit as a main heading. Then we have second heading, that is reactive form in Angular for listening to the value changes. Then we have one label. This time we forgot to add the horizontal row, but that is fine, like that is not mandatory thing. So if it is needed you can add, otherwise you can simply skip it. So we have this username label, and in front of that we have one input field, that where we are supposed to write the input. Okay, now right click on the browser, go to inspect, and after that just click on console. So currently you can see there is no message, right? The moment when we start writing something here, it will log the message. So for example, if I write here A B C D E F, so you can see for each keystroke, for each changes, it is writing the console message. Initially I added A, so it becomes A, then AB, then ABC, then ABCDE, and likewise till F it is working. In fact, if I remove something, so you will see that it is considering that as that part also as a change, because this is a change, right? So overall what it is doing, like whenever we are changing something, it's like it will trigger the that ng on init method, and if ng on init method is executed, then it will simply show you the whatever logic you have written inside this change condition, that if the value is changed, then in that case it will log the message with a value. Clear? So yeah, this is the overall process through which we can figure out like how to listen to the value changes. So the HTML code is very simple, it's straightforward. You just need to write some logic into the component.ts file, because we know that in case of reactive form, most of the logic comes under the component.ts file itself, not in the HTML. On the other hand, if we talk about the template driven form, then there is a there we write most of the code into the HTML part instead of component file. Clear? So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.